This module is part of the course Awareness. It's one of the MAISA Next Generation Science Standard Title I modules. This module and any of these modules can be used in isolation. In this case, though, you might want to complete the basics of NGSS before working on this module. This module is entitled Next Generation Science Standards, How to Read the NGSS. A good place to start this work is on the website nextgenscience.org. The address is located at the top of the screen. And this site is a very useful place for finding lots of resources and information about the Next Generation Science Standard. Since today we are going to be working on reading the standards, we're going to click on the titled linked Next Generation Science Standard, which is circled in red on your screen. I'm going to go ahead and click through on that. And this page comes up. And I'm going to point out a couple of important features on this page. So please note that the appendices are located on the left-hand side. There are lots of links to those, and I think they're going to be very, very helpful for using to understand and make sense of the Next Generation Science Standards. On the right-hand side are the ways to actually view and look at the standards. And it's important to note that there are two arrangements, but both of these arrangements contain all of the same performance expectations. What makes them different is just how they've clumped them together. The first view is arranged by disciplinary core idea, and these standards are arranged in a way that similar content is together. The second is by topic, and in this case, these are an arrangement of the standards that one might use to make sense of putting together to teach students. Please remember again that all standards are in both of these views. In this case today, we are going to look at the topic view, so I'm going to go ahead and click through on that link. When this comes up, I first want to point out that you can view all of the standards as arranged by topic as a PDF. And this is a 102-page document, and you certainly can print off the parts that you need. But in case it's not serving what you need it for or seems rather large, there is another option, which is to use this searchable boxes at the bottom. And notice you can go by grade band, such as K2, or individual grade, such as K1 or 2. And you also will click on the disciplinary core idea that you want to work with that. Or you could be more general, such as physical science. For our work today, we are going to choose 5th grade, and we are going to, under the disciplinary core idea, choose Earth and the solar systems. I'm going to highlight both of those and then click search. What comes up is in red. It says space systems, stars in the solar system. So I'm going to go ahead and click through on that link. So I am going to look at this page, and we're going to point out some important features and to help you read and use these standards. So here's the structure of the Next Generation Science Standards. Across the top is the topic, and in this case it says 5, which stands for 5th grade, Space Systems, Stars in the Solar System. Underneath that are the performance expectation. Please note again, it says students who can demonstrate understanding can. And then these are performance expectations. You'll also often hear them referred to as PEs. They integrate practices, core ideas, and cross-cutting concepts, and there are statements of what is to be assessed. They require students to demonstrate knowledge and use. It's really important to also note that these are not instructional strategies, and they are not individual lesson objectives. In fact, what they are is a statement of what students should be able to do at the end of instruction. And they are organized by, again, topic view or DCI view. This is a topic view. Underneath the performance expectation are the foundation boxes. The orange box in the center is a disciplinary core idea, and these actually are focused on the science content, or sometimes some people refer to this as the meter. This is the actual knowing of science that you expect from your students. I want to point out that there's codes on these. In this case, there's PS2.B. that actually is a reference back to the framework for K-12 science education. On the left-hand side in the blue box are the science and engineering practices. These are integrated into every performance expectation, and these are the practices that science and engineers use in their work and that we need to help our students do to become well prepared for their future careers. On the right-hand side are the cross-cutting concepts. These are the overarching themes that prevail throughout science. And in this case, you can see patterns, cause and effect, scale, proportion, and quantity are all things that run through all areas and branches of science. Underneath the foundation boxes are the connection boxes, and they do various other things. One thing they have is they show connections to other disciplinary core ideas in that grade band. They show connections to the other disciplinary core ideas in other grade levels, and then they show the connections to the Common Core ELA and mathematics standards. What we're going to do next is we're actually going to take one individual standard and take a really close look at performance expectation, and take a really close look at it. This is 5-PS2-1, and it says support an argument that the gravitational force exerted by Earth on objects is directed down. Many performance expectations come with a clarification statement. That is to make sure that it's understandable what you should teach when we're doing this work. The assessment boundary helps to know what will or will not be assessed. In this case, gravitational force in 5th grade does not include mathematical representations of gravity. Your performance expectation, the code that goes with it, the 5PS2-1, can also be found in the orange box disciplinary core ideas. So you can always search for it down here. I've circled it in red. Please note that this is going to show you what that core idea is, and again, you could still reference that back to the framework. Another really important thing that you can do is to take that disciplinary core idea and go back to these appendices. So Appendix E looks at the disciplinary core idea progressions. So I'm going to click on those, and I'm actually going to scroll down until I find physical science. And here I'm going to find PS2.B, types of interactions. What's really powerful about this is I can now read what comes before I teach, what are students going to know about types of interactions in kindergarten through 2nd grade, and then I can look and say, how is this knowledge going to help them to become more sophisticated thinkers? What will they be using with this in 6th through 8th grade and 9th through 12th grades? You can do the same process in looking at each of the foundation boxes. So in this case, I'm actually going to find the science and engineering practice that is linked to my performance expectation. And in this case, it's engaging an argument from evidence. And there's a short explanation on this standards page of what that means. But again, I can go back to that appendix, and I can click on that, and I can scroll down until I get to practice 7. Engaging an argument from evidence. At the top of this page is a general explanation of what engaging an argument from evidence means. And then at the bottom, there is another, again, a progression that shows an increase in the sophistication of student thought and their increased abilities to use argument and argumentation. So again, I can go look and say, what does this look like for kindergarten through 2nd grade? What does this look like in the grade span I'm teaching? And what are students going to do with argumentation as they get older in grades 6 through 8 and 9 through 12? And reading this is going to help me give me a really good sense of what it means to teach this in my classroom. Another thing that's important to do is to go and take a look at the cross-cutting concepts. Again, in this case, 5-PS2-1 is cause and effect. And so again, I'm going to go back to this appendix. I'm going to click on cross-cutting concepts. And the second cross-cutting concept that they look at is cause and effect. And again, there's a explanation of what this is. And then underneath again, there is a progression across the grades, and it shows me where those are used with which performance expectation and how student thinking is going to grow along with the students. Now, all of this is a great place to start doing this work. Another thing you can do is actually go back to the framework, and then there are lots of other resources that are shared at the end of this module in the other resources that tell you places to go and look to find more information. So thank you for your time, and I hope you've enjoyed learning about how to read the next generation science standards.